Good coffee this morning. Real good. Hi, I'm Paul Begley reporting. This thing here, General David Petraeus has just spoke out. And he's saying to this church in Gainesville, Florida, don't burn the Koran. And I'll tell you something, I totally agree with him. I mean, you got to understand that it just doesn't make sense to have a special day designed for a little group of people. Dove World Outreach Center, the Dove World Outreach Center out of Gainesville, Florida, their pastor, which I saw him on television a few weeks ago, and trying to explain his rationale. But they plan on burning the Koran, taking the Koran, several Korans, and burning them, having a bonfire with the Muslim holy book. This doesn't make sense. I mean, absolutely, America is a country of freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and I've been very critical of the culture that the Islamic faith creates. You can look at some of my videos. I've criticized the mistreatment and abuse of women, which I find to be despicable. The Saudi Arabia, where they're driving the nails into the hands of the maid by this one couple. And I'm not saying that all Muslims do these types of things. Obviously, there's just a few bad, rotten apples everywhere, but it's a culture. Throwing acid in the face of young girls, honor killings that go on in some of these countries in the Muslim faith, the 99 lashes, the stoning, women caught in adultery, you take them out and you stone them, or give them 99 lashes. All of these things, the oppression they're given, they're constantly under the abuse. But this is a culture that's created, not the religion. Not necessarily, although there is some things in the Quran that does give permission for beatings. But one thing's for sure, taking the Quran and burning the Quran is stupid. Okay? You're not proving anything down there in Gainesville, Georgia. That is stupid. And I'm calling out this radical Christian group. You heard me say it. Radical Christians. Very few do we have. Christianity doesn't create a culture of violence. I understand they're protesting against the abuse and the violence and the radical Muslim terrorist organizations that on 9/11 took down the Twin Towers in New York City and killed 3,000 Americans. I understand the purpose. I understand the reason. But the method doesn't work. And when General David Petraeus, the top commander in the war in Afghanistan, says, please don't do this, it will incite violence and potentially put more of our U.S. soldiers in harm's way, I say you listen to the general and you obey his command. I'm Paul Begley. This is a heated jihadist holy war. Remember, the Muslims started this thing. The radical Muslim terrorists, they called this a holy jihad. I know. But it still doesn't make sense to burn their holy book. I'm Paul Begley. Just don't do this. I call on that Dove Church down there in Gainesville. Just don't do this.